people think we just bum rushed and held up the spot and be like, yo, we taking over SportsCenter and ran amok. They asked us to do SportsCenter because they needed to breathe life into that brand, in part because not only, look, it was also a tough time across the board for linear television.
Right.
The technology, streaming, news. Right. Trump was on his way to being elected. Like, news was popping ratings wise, right? And so across the board, ESPN was struggling with ratings. But SportsCenter, they wanted, John Skipper, our president at the time, wanted to reimagine SportsCenter. He sees this brand, this emerging brand on E2, these two people that like, this could be something here. Let's put them on SportsCenter. But part of the reason is, to your point, and that's a very observant on your part, and because you know the cycle, the news cycle, no pun intended, is that it's a weird in-between spot.
Right.
But that said, we always knew that we had to be first, not last on a topic. Now, if there was something that still has some legs at 6, we'd certainly address it. But we were always the first on stories. And we were quick enough to adjust, and we did it at noon too. We were quick enough to adjust to what happened at 5:55 and put it in the show.
So what was the first moment that you were like the first like real pothole in the road that's like, that was a rough day?
You know, I don't know if I could pinpoint one thing, but I could tell you it was probably day one, if not before day one. Probably was just in meetings and discussions and rehearsals. You know, I'll tell you what it was. I'll actually tell you what it was. I'll tell you what the first, it wasn't a moment or it wasn't on camera, but I'll tell you the first time we knew where this might not be what they told us it was going to be. Like, we got the impression, both in terms of word and contract, that we would be able to come to SportsCenter, do exactly what we were doing on his and hers. We like, you sure? Like, y'all been watching what we talk about? You sure you okay? But also have significant say in staff, going back to that. We wanted a certain coordinating producer on our show. Didn't get her. They gave us another guy who I had a pretty good relationship with. Jamel didn't really know him in that spot. So in terms of, basically, to quote Bill Parcells, we were cooking the meal, but we couldn't shop for the groceries. And so when it came to the staff, and this is not.
But you were doing the rundown, were you not?
So
at the 6,
they don't take kindly to talent telling them what to do. So going back to his and hers and numbers never lie, I gained that autonomy through attrition, because at the beginning of Numbers Never Lie, the producers didn't understand that the best avenue to success is to get out of the way and follow Michael's lead. Now, once they did, the show got good. And then when Jamel came aboard, the show really got good. And then it became just me and Jamel, and both of us took the lead, and we were in lockstep. And the stuff I was saying was being echoed by her and vice versa. They were like, okay. And then we had a producer named Whit Album. He's at FS1 now. He's my favorite producer I've ever worked with at ESPN, because he understood that. Do what Michael wants to do. And so once we did that, his and hers became great. And it became, for my money, I'll take the Pepsi Challenge. This is the best show ESPN ever had. I'll take the Pepsi Challenge. It may not have been the most viewed. It might not have had the most longevity.
It was hot.
But couldn't nobody fuck with us.
And we knew that. It was hot.
Nobody could fuck with us. Because there are shows still trying to do what we were doing then.
It didn't translate to the 6 because
in part, and I'll tell you the other reasons why, but in part because SportsCenter's producers and the people who were trained in that area had a certain way of doing things. We tried to come in running shit. And so when there was tension when it came to just creative vision immediately, in terms of what we wanted to do in the show versus people trying to do it, like you said, in MSNBC, where it's like, hey, this is what we're talking about.
Right.
So there's just a difference of opinion. I'm of the opinion that if you're going to do a show that isn't just talent rotating in and out every day, but if you're going to do a show where it's with Michael and Jamel, then you probably should do what Michael and Jamel want to do.
Yeah.
Now, that said, it wasn't that big of a difference because we're journalists. We weren't crazy.
Right.
if the Lakers and Clippers are playing in an hour, we weren't trying to talk about what happened 2 days ago.
Right.
Like we know how to put together shows, but they don't like being told what to do. And I wasn't in the business of trying to tell them what to do. I just wanted it done right. And see, it wasn't our way or my way or the highway. There's a right and a wrong way. Shout out to Keith Sweat. And so when I would step in and try to and get it done a certain way, it was because, and we had a relatively young staff, it was because in certain cases they were doing it wrong. Sorry. And I'm not here to sugarcoat shit. No. I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm not here to be nice about it. We trying to get shit done. A rising tide floats all boats.
Yeah.
So don't get in your feelings or feel like, oh, well, I got my performance review. I need to be able to produce this segment, and this is my segment, and I need to be able to get promoted to show producer and segment producer and coordinating producer, and it's in my idea. And that's not what this is about. I don't care whose idea it is. I don't care who's right. Let's just do the right thing and do it to the best of our abilities. And the rest will take care of itself. We'll all get promoted. We'll be the Dallas Cowboys. All of y'all will get jobs off this show if we do it right. The 90s Cowboys with Jimmy Johnson, where every assistant was getting head coaching jobs.
No doubt.
If we do this right, there'll be spinoffs galore. That's the goal. We want to be a place where not only talent, but producers came and grew and people started plucking them off a successful product.
Right.
That's what we want it to be. But again, talent there on SportsCenter in particular, they're not accustomed to talent taking ownership